conference and to all of you for celebrating 200 years. Please know that this week, Austin Sermon, who's a member of our staff, who's moving around the table here, came out here to present to you as a community the history of York County, and that was placed in the congressional record. So everything that you've done, though we didn't have what you just stated, I hope someone was recording it, the history of this county, and that you would all come out on a beautiful day like today to celebrate. That is a true credit to the citizenship that exists here, that I always feel when I'm made to feel so welcome, and to understand each of your stories. We just were over at the History Museum here, and there's a big sign out in back that said, history like charity begins at home. And the history of your family is very important. I hope your children and grandchildren know it, and how that history connects to others, because that is the history, not just of Ohio, but of the United States of America. And as we celebrate today, we are all part of what is called the Great Lakes Kingdom. Some people like to call it the Great Lakes Nation. And you live at the convergence of 3 states that were the most difficult to settle. So the history here was more rugged perhaps than others, but it is a history that is not shared typically at the level that you have. The beautiful, beautiful printed volume that was done, that took a lot of work, and it is a credit to your community. Make sure you broadly share it with the Ohio Historical Association and other organizations that care about history. And I'll tell you one experience I had, and I won't make it long, but we were at something over in Pettisville, and I was sitting there and listening, and the man said, you know, there used to be a plank road that came out here. I said, there was? And he said, yeah, it came from Vistula. I said, Vistula? That's in Toledo. And he goes, yeah, I know. He said, but you know, that road, that came out of Toledo, it was a plank road, which I didn't know. And I said, where did it go? He said, it went up where I live in Michigan. I said, well, do we honor that trail? I said, that must have been quite a muddy, difficult trail, and who did it? I have never seen a proper rendition of that trail. Today, in the modern age, we have US 24, which took us many, many years to get funded and build from the Port of Toledo to Fort Wayne, Indiana. But the plank road, I don't know, it was pretty important because it meant digging out of the swamp and coming up to higher land. And there's a whole story that has to be told there that really isn't told. And so I guess I have an audience where I should say, I think it should be. And that we're all connected in this watershed which we share with Canada. And it is a watershed that is changing. It's changing. It did last couple weeks. We had an enormous amount of rain. And of course, Lake Erie sits in the bottom of the watershed. And we have the largest watershed in the entire Great Lakes. And it is the most arable. It is so rich in the soils, in the water, and the effort, perseverance that our people put into it. It is something that we must care for very consciously, and not let the modern age ruin what has been so hard fought for and so hard earned in this region. I've had the privilege in my work to travel many places in the world. And there are many places that cannot feed themselves. There are many places that do not have fresh water. I chair a committee in the Congress where we are trying to figure out how to help the dry West. I won't go into all the plumbing of the West, but it's extraordinarily complicated and very expensive. And there are millions of people, of our fellow citizens, who live there. We live in a place that truly can be not just self-sufficient, but provide for others, as we have for many, many generations now. So your being here today shows you have a deeper consciousness of what it takes to build community. I want to congratulate each of you for doing that, and to say that we are here to do our part to help, but a community as conscious as yours can only be successful. And as you do your work in the coming years and decades, teachers, farmers, business people, citizens all, think about inviting people here from other countries who simply don't know how to run their own town. They don't know how to assay their own land. They don't know how to run a court system. And part of the lesson of America is we share the institutions of freedom, starting with our own Constitution. So this is part of the heritage of your county. You have a greater appreciation in joining 2 other states than perhaps other places do. And I just urge you to continue to do your work locally, nationally, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. God bless all of you and congratulations. Your story is in the most important record of the United States of America, and that is the Daily Journal of the Congress of the United States. You're there. Congratulations.